There we go. Let's get Facebook in here. We can start the show. Rocking and rolling. One of these days, I'm gonna miss the show, Dylan. I don't know what you guys are gonna do. No, it's been a bit. It's been a little bit. There we go. Then we got check marks going. It is time for an episode of Broncos for Breakfast. I am Nick Kendell. We're gonna have probably a. It took me a second to make the link today, Dylan, because I was up for 4 hours last night with the little kid who's he's getting big now and strong, and he was not having it. He had a fever, sent home from daycare on Thursday, not good Friday, Saturday. Thought a little better yesterday, but last night, no sleep. So you can probably still hear that I'm getting over a little bit of something as well, a little more nasally than normal. But we're here. God bless Lion Coffee is all I can say. It's still a little too hot to enjoy right now, but I'm going to need like 3 of these today because very little sleep last night. Frustrating night. More frustrating for the little guy. I feel bad for him, but oh man, you can only be like swung on, screamed in your ear so many times on little sleep. So we're here. Patience, breathing. Broncos. How you doing, Dylan? Thanks for covering for Eric, who is out sick today. I didn't know. I couldn't find my phone this morning either, so I have no idea. We're raw dogging this morning. We're killing it. Good to see you, Dylan.
Yeah,
What's going on?
doing good. Sounds like the little guy's getting big enough to fight back, so that's gonna be a little rough time for you. But
Yeah, he's gonna
yeah,
get
I,
big.
I guess the sickness is going around. Eric's not doing too well, a little fever, under the weather, but that's all right. I'll fill in and happy to talk Broncos, especially post the preseason game, which had a lot of highlights. Actually, I'm very excited to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be a fun time. We do want to say hello to everybody coming in. Where did Eric message us? Was it Twitter, not Facebook?
Yes.
Okay, I checked Facebook this morning and I did not check Twitter, so that would make some sense, or X, whatever it is. I don't want to offend anybody. I don't know. We got so far this morning. We got 3 members coming in on the YouTube side of things, saying good morning, hello to us. If you are joining us this morning, tell us your biggest takeaway from this just covered the Falcons, Broncos Cardinals game, and this week of the joint practice as well. We obviously haven't talked to you guys since Wednesday, so a lot has happened since then. So let us know your biggest takeaways and what you thought of the game. Obviously, good time for the Denver Broncos, and it sounds like vibes were quite high in the locker room after joint practice and after the preseason game. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves because Cardinals might not be a very good team this season. They don't appear to have very good depth in the least, but still, when you are the better team, hopefully this doesn't get us in trouble, but belt to ass is what you want, and belt to ass is what we saw on Saturday. Speaking of belt to ass, whatever the heck that means, Chase. I love you, so I think I can say something weird like that to you. 95 Chase, good to see you, Chase Weller. Good morning, go Broncos. Thank you so much, Chase. One of our members, make sure you guys are joining our members. We got more members here. Dave Glassman in the house. Dave is always a constant contributor to the show. We appreciate you, Dave. Mike Thompson in the house, another member. Good to see you. Michael Ronquillo. Good morning, Broncos country. We got Lamar James says, good morning, guys. And Broncos Nation, go Broncos. Lamar, I'm going to let you slide on this one. You can say whatever the heck you want, especially if it's a super chat. But some people will skewer you for saying Broncos Nation instead of Broncos country. So just be aware on that one. That's whatever. Call them what you want. Bronco land. So we got T Fishes coming in and says, I think we're so back. The Broncos sure feel like they're back. Now, what does back mean? That's on a relative scale. Are we going to be competing with, the Ravens, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Eagles? Maybe. Are we back as far as like last season, the expectation? Like last season was a shock entering the year, obviously, but that is like the floor expectation right now. Like getting the playoffs one and done, that'll be disappointing for how we're feeling right now. Now, granted, who you are week 1 is not who you are week 18. Things can change with, knock on wood, injuries, so you can look different. We saw that with the Lions last season. God, they were a mash unit on defense. Who knows what could have happened? But yeah, it does feel like the vibes are as high as they've been in a long time, Dylan. In a long time.
Absolutely. And man, I know most of the time it is, or probably the whole time, it's been backups the Broncos have been playing against, but there's guys you've seen, whether it's starters or even depth, that have stepped up and kind of materialized that offseason hype, that training camp hype that's been around them. Like Evan Ingram, dude still got that speed. He looked great. Obviously got a couple good blocks thrown his way to make that happen, but he still got that juice. RJ Harvey looked great as well. The running backs in general look great, very encouraging for the running game, and hopefully that translate into the season. And once the starters, they're playing against starters and some wideouts looking pretty great. Pat Bryant, Troy Franklin, especially, who I've been very critical of. Not sure he would make that leap, but he's looking very good. But again, not to be a wet blanket, I'm very curious to see what he looks like against some starters going into the regular season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we ran through some of the big things there. We'll go through some of them one by one, but probably my biggest takeaway is that while Mims and Vele didn't play, which probably indicates they're secure in their roles and their spots. Vele did have that big 70-yard touchdown in joint practice. They should not feel secure. I know they didn't play, but they should feel pressure right now because Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant have been two of the standouts in camp, and then to see it materialize in a preseason game as well. Now, how much does that matter? It matters more than practice to a certain extent. I kind of view it as the different levels of Madden. All right, what is it? It's a rookie, veteran, all pro, all Madden, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think those are the 4 tiers. It's been 5 years since I played Madden, but training camp, pads come on, we're rookie, right? Walk through whatever rookie, preseason, joint practice. Okay, now we're playing a veteran. It matters a little more. Regular season, you jump from that veteran to all pro is pretty significant. And then playoffs, different football. That's all Madden. We're in those playoff games. So right now we're seeing veteran level and they're getting it done. What does it look like when it jumps up to all pro when it's time for the regular season? But yeah, Pat Bryant looked. It's such a cliche, but like he does not look lost at all. He is physical. He is smooth. He's a savvy player as well. I know that, what was it, the 4.65, 4.67? Like he's not a blazer by any means, but he's fast in pads. So I'm really excited for him. Watching him play, there's a comp. I'm not going to throw it out yet, but the physicality and just like how strong his hands are. Man, I'm afraid to say it. We'll keep that back pocket now. Naj coming in here. Hey, brothers, we have the talent to win it all. It will come down to Knicks and injuries. Go Broncos. You said it, brother. I mean, God, quarterback play and injuries. The one I will add to as well is we need the offensive line to replicate last season. If not, maybe even turn the dial up in run blocking a little bit. I think that what we've seen from the offensive line in the joint practices specifically has been not concerning. That's the wrong word, but not dominant number one pass blocking offensive line in football. Now, I'm not here to, just immediately build in excuses for the quarterback. It's a symbiotic relationship with everything there, but I'm on offensive line watch as well. I'm not going to call them a fraud by any means, and they were really good in this preseason game. Not as good in the last one, but in joint practices, I feel like some of the starters, mainly Powers and Wattenberg, have not been delivering to last season's level of play, from what I've heard. So we're keeping an eye on the offensive line as well. But you're right. The main two will be the quarterback play and the injuries.
Absolutely. And, like you mentioned, that run blocking is going to be huge. Something has to take pressure off of Bo Nix. Obviously, there's spots where you want him to be the hero and make the plays, but you don't want that all game long. You don't want him throwing 35 plus times every week. You need to take some pressure off him. And having showcased Harvey quite a bit in the preseason, Sean Payton seems to be like, hey, this is my shiny new toy, and I'm going to show him off and try and prove people, hey, this is my guy. Because you haven't seen J.K. Dobbins a whole lot. I'm assuming that's just because, injury history. He's a vet. He maybe doesn't need the reps as much. But I mentioned before, the entire backfield, besides Audric Estime, yikes, has looked pretty good. They've flashed, and I made the comment in our chat that seems like any time another Broncos running back is mentioned, Jaleel McLaughlin just rips off a big gain or a big play. So that's going to be a fun group to watch, and hopefully makes this offense much more dynamic than it was a season ago.
Yeah, I think they're going to have some tough decisions. McLaughlin and Bidet. I thought Bidet looked really good as well. He's not as explosive, but he's a tougher runner between the tackle. He's more all down worthy than McLaughlin. Yeah, I feel bad. Estime feels like a dead man walking to this point. And Watson probably practice squad bound. So are they going to keep 4, especially with Burton's injury? Maybe that changes the math where they can protect one. But as Carl Dummler says, good to see you, Carl. I'm not cheating on you. I love this hat. I also have my Broncos, building the Broncos hat here as well. But no, running game could be a real strength this year. I'm such a boring Nelly. I still want to see it to believe it. I don't know if the Quinn Miners is probably the only like plus run blocker on the unit right now. The rest of them are, it's about the collective and the scheme and everything. But I don't know if you still have as much earth moving. Bowles is, very solid and good, but he's not, Tristan Wirfs out there at the point of attack, or Penny Sewell or Jordan Mailata. So I want to see the run blocking better. Last season they were in like they were really high in pass blocking, but they were 10 to 14 in the run blocking metrics. So want to see that more as well, but it should be hopefully better. And speaking of which, the thing that I've been having my hopes rested on was RJ Harvey, and that San Francisco game, not all on him, but that touchdown run, I have not seen the all 22 yet, but how he squirted through in the vision and the feet and the balance to squirt through that offensive line and find it between the tackles was glorious. So obviously some concerns. He could at UFC kick it out a lot and outrun people. It's not going to work in the NFL. But that was some incredibly nifty footwork for him, and it made it look pretty easy in heavy traffic. So excited for that. That was the most excited I've been for RJ Harvey since, we started up with training camp and everything.
Yeah, and you just think about how Javonte Williams last year made nothing look easy.
No.
Running into the back of his offensive line, the terrible vision. That's something we harped on all offseason, going through draft analysis and what have you. Vision was a big part of what we were looking for through running backs in the draft, and it seems RJ Harvey is going to be a huge upgrade there. And while he's a smaller guy, he's got tree trunks of legs. He's got enough power and explosiveness to go along with it. So definitely a guy Sean Payton wants to have be a focal point of this offense. I think despite J.K. Dobbins being on the Broncos, Harvey's going to get the majority of the work. That's just the feeling I have, because I think Sean Payton does really love this guy.
Dang, you got me blowing my nose here. We got Michael Ronquillo. Good morning, Nick and Dylan on Broncos for breakfast. Gobo Broncos. Yeah, good to see you. Appreciate you coming to Super Chat. Appreciate Naj as well. The 1999 is nothing to blow your nose at, if you will. Nothing to sneeze at. But yeah, that's incredible. We appreciate you both so much coming in and hanging out with us. Mike Thompson says his biggest takeaway is Ingram is still fast. Yeah, what a great play design. Now, granted, Cardinals backups, they were, all moving one way of this. They didn't look, they all took the cheese on that one, if you will. But that was a great play. And what got me hyped about that one, not only Ingram fast, looking good in that number one, good play design, good ball from Stiddy, but seeing Troy Franklin get in the way, I guess is what we'll call it. I mean, he did enough to impact down the field, but then it was Pat Bryant blocking the absolute loving, out of the player 30 yards down the field and locked on and just moving him. I mean, that play, being an Iowa fan, I don't get to see my wide receivers make that many spectacular catches down the field, so they better damn well block, right? It's kind of an anti-recruiting thing other coaches use against Iowa, but like if you're going to Iowa to play wide receiver, you're essentially going to be a bouncer, escorting guys out of the club because they're going to run the ball and you better freaking block. And they obviously, Pat Bryant had to have that same mentality at Illinois with Brett Bielema, because Brett loves to run the football, and we saw that in that game. In this game, it wasn't just the pass catching. I mean, Bryant was awesome. I don't have the stats directly in front of me, but he definitely led. He had to have led the team in receptions. If it wasn't him, it would have been the small wide receiver. Courtney Jackson had a lot as well. But I very, very impressed with Pat Bryant, and that block on that play really changed it from going 20 yards to, what was it, 50. So awesome from Pat Bryant.
That's something you'd love to see. Yeah. Troy Franklin, especially, obviously he wasn't great in terms of technique, but he showed heart. And like you mentioned, he did kind of just get in the way. But honestly, whether he's throwing a block or being a distraction to whoever he's matched up on, that's great. And you love to see it. And with Pat Bryant, man, I can't remember the stats specifically, but in terms of moving the chains on receptions in college, I remember it was pretty damn good. And I believe most, if not all, of his catches the other night move the chain. So that's very encouraging to see, especially out of a wide receiver group who is mostly potential at the moment, unrealized potential. So hopefully that carries over as well. And we get someone here. Franklin's making a good case to step into a bigger role, but Pat Bryant's right there as well, especially with his effort, like you mentioned, in blocking as well as catching the football. And I believe, if I'm looking here, it looks like he had 4 receptions, which was tied with Troy and Blake Watson.
Oh, Watson.
At least from
well,
what I'm looking at. Yeah.
Yeah. We got Chase coming in here again. Good point here, talking about Davis Webb. It's Davis Webb, right? Not David Webb. Okay? I read it and it got me questioning myself. I did not get much sleep this weekend. Says, I fear we're going to lose him. Definitely possible, but that's a good problem to have. I guess the good thing is he is just the quarterback's coach, not the offensive coordinator. So maybe he gets promoted and Broncos have a lot of money to throw around to keep him. Now, obviously, you're not going to hold him back from directly to a head coach. But not many people go quarterback coach to head coach. The one thing I will say is that there's not a pathway here really for him to call plays. Right? That doesn't make sense for Denver to relinquish play calling from Sean Payton to give it to Davis Webb. That's not something Denver should be doing. But yeah, he might be on the move here pretty soon. But you're hoping that you have a organization that's breeding good, smart, innovative coaches under Sean Payton. That seems to be, we saw this offseason, Dylan, teams kind of are interested in the sauce that's going on in Denver right now in the scheme because Denver got poached a few spots. Wide receiver coach off to the offensive coordinator to the Lions, and I might be missing somebody as well. But yeah, overall, we'll see what happens with Davis Webb. Good job by him calling that game. Got a game ball, I heard as well. So awesome to see that. Another big takeaway here. Dave Glassman is correct. Jarrett Stidham. Jarrett Stidham has been awesome. Year 3 in the system with Sean Payton. And man, he looked really good. I'm dealing with a sick kid. I can hear him. He's up now. He's screaming up above me. But not a good night. Watch the highlight, trying to keep up with the highlights as I can as I was taking care of him. Saturday, was able to watch the full game Sunday. But I'm watching it and I'm like, oh yeah, wow, Nix is carving him up. Cool, that's good. Just busy, whatever. It's like, oh, wait a second. That's number 8. Man, Stidham looks like a freaking dude. And I always knew Stidham was going to be, a good-looking quarterback. His throws. I remember talking with Jordan Palmer, walking with him to his car after the Missouri Pro Day back in 2000. What year was that? The Drew Lock draft. Whatever year the Drew Lock draft was.
16 or 17, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Must have been 17 or 18. But I'm walking back with the car, and he's like, Drew Lock had a good pro day, but who has got an incredible arm is Stidham. And I always like, okay, Jarrett Stidham, we're keeping an eye on that guy too. Fell to the 4th round. Patriots, I think maybe, and the Raiders. But yeah, he's got a good arm, and he looks good in this system. And as James B says here, Stidham looking nice. A great backup quarterback's essential for a Super Bowl run. Absolutely, especially with now that we got the 17-game season. Nix is a person who will put a shoulder in there from time to time as well. So you might have to lean on Stidham for 2-4 games. If your starter quarterback goes done, season's probably done. But 2 to 4 games keep you afloat. Go 500. Go 3-1. I feel very confident in Stidham, and I'm very happy also to have him on a 2-year contract here as well, because how he's playing right now would probably get him a pretty good contract from somebody looking for a bridge/stopgap, depending on how the draft would go for them. So 2-year contract with Stidham, have him here in the room. And that's another positive also for if you lose Davis Webb, you still got Stidham here as well, he's not the coach by any means, but a piece of that room still that's working really well in Denver.
Yeah, Stidham's the best kind of backup you could ask for. Like you mentioned, if, knock on wood, for some reason Bo Nix went down, you don't want him playing for an extended amount of time, but like you mentioned, 2 to 4 games, great. Put it in cruise control. I'm perfectly fine with that. Stidham's shown enough to prove that he belongs on this team as the backup and someone to bounce ideas off of Bo Nix as well, a veteran presence, if you will. So yeah, I'm very excited to have Stidham in this quarterback room, and he has played very well. It's very encouraging to see that, even if it is against backups, third strings, what have you. He's cleaning up where he's supposed to. He's doing his job.
I mean, normally in preseason, the backup quarterbacks come in, and it is just a grueling, horrific product. to watch,
Ellinger.
especially when you get to some of the deeper quarterbacks. It's bad, but a lot of times, even from the starters to the backups, it's like this isn't. We're watching glorified college football. The real difference in the NFL is how good the quarterbacks are. That's why they get paid the money that they do. But Stidham looked really good, and it makes me feel good about what Bo Nix can be this season. I'm not calling for a quarterback competition or anything like that as well, but you have, avenues and talent in the room, and Stidham's always had arm talent. I think he might have been one of the top quarterback recruits in his class when he went to Baylor. I think he was Baylor originally, then out to Auburn after that. But one of the original transfer quarterbacks. But yeah, no, it's going to be fun to watch him. The question is if he is even going to play in the third game. Did we get any information on that? It's probably they should just give Ellinger the entire game because Stidham's proven enough to me. I don't know if we need him for the third game.
Yeah, I'm not aware on that, but I'm sure we'll find out soon, or Sean Payton will be vague about it. We never really know with him, so we'll know soon, I'm sure.
Falling sloths. This has always been falling sloths? I thought it was singular. So now we have multiple sloths falling out of trees? What's going on here? Good morning, Broncos country. Hope everyone's day is off to a great start. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well out there in Cincinnati, falling sloths. Appreciate you. Also, you're in here joining us. You've been a member for a long time. Why don't you actually become a member of the team here? We got obviously become a member. Here we go of the MHH YouTube team. We got a lot of you in here. And Fallen Sloths, I'm calling you out directly. I know where you live, Mr. Cincinnati. So make sure you join the team and hang out with us here. Speaking of our members, Jason Bonney, a member, and dropping us a $2 super chat saying, I'm here for the Troy Franklin praise. Yeah, right now the problem with the Broncos at wide receiver is that we're still waiting to have proof in the pudding of who's a wide receiver 2 capable wide receiver as far as the pecking order and the target share and everything. But Franklin looks great. The problem is, are they going to have 6 guys active? Is it possible they could flip one of these guys for plus capital? I don't know how it's all going to work out because Mims and Sherfield are definitely active. Cortland Sutton's definitely active. Franklin, Bryant, and Vele probably should be active. Are they going to keep 6 active? I don't know.
It's hard to say, but just to give you a little love, Jason, because I know you've been on Troy Franklin for a while. He has looked much improved, and at the top of the show, like I said, not to be a wet blanket, we haven't seen against starters yet, but he is doing his job against the competition that he's put in front of him. Catching over the shoulder for a touchdown.
Yeah, late hands.
I never thought I'd see that. Never thought I'd see that, especially, so 2 touchdown effort. That's great, and he's looking good against who he should beat. And I'm very excited to see if that continues into the regular season. That's not me trying to be a downer. That's just much like Nick mentioned. I'm a believe it when I see it kind of guy. I do have hopes for a lot of players, but I do need to see the product at the end of the day. And Troy Franklin is on the right track to be a big contributor in this offense if he can carry that over into week 1.
Another guy who really caught everyone's eye in this one, of course, was Courtney Jackson. Had a heck of a game, got a lot of opportunities. The offense to run through him there. It was obviously later, but the kick returns were good. And he is one where I feel like people are always like, oh my gosh, we can't subject him to waivers, or we can't cut him because somebody will claim him. I hope that Broncos can sneak him through. I would expect him to. There's only typically 4 or 5 players every year that are nabbed off of waivers. Teams want the guys that they've worked with, that they know that they have relationships with. They keep them most of the time as opposed to going outside the organization during that waiver period. But he's one that maybe could be grabbed, especially that special teams returner ability. But he, if the Broncos were off to trade, I don't think I trade Franklin. I think it'd probably have to be Vele if there was a trade, wide receiver trade. But he didn't play, so is he safe? Are they going to keep 6? It's going to be interesting to see. But I really thought Courtney Jackson had a heck of a game as well and deserved a shout out.
Absolutely. It's nice to have some depth there and some options for the practice squad if you can sneak them on there. Like you mentioned, plenty of teams kind of want to keep the guys they've worked with, not really go outside unless they're really not liking what they're seeing from a certain position. Kind of how I feel about the third quarterback on this team. Not really a big fan of Ellinger. The game kind of dips down, and obviously he's the third string, right? You're not going to expect absolute fireworks, but I could see the Broncos possibly looking outside the team and waiting for cuts to get that third quarterback if they choose to keep one.
Yeah, so a lot of offense talk so far. Did want to give a shout out to Nick Gargiulo, who suffered a significant injury. Cart came out. I don't know if we've heard the full ramifications of what that injury is, but given how it played out on the field, I'm guessing we probably won't see him until next season, and hopefully he's better. He had a really good game, joint practice versus 49ers. Didn't do as well, I thought, in this game when he was out there, but still a young, hopeful player from that what's shaping up to be incredible 2024 draft class as it stands, and really a bummer to see him get injured. As far as the offensive line goes, I thought Throckmorton had a pretty good game overall. I think maybe a little bit overhyped for some of the talk after I watched the game in hindsight, people talking about him, but offensive line did, as a whole, did okay. I don't really love Alex Forsythe. I think your offensive tackle depth and Peart and Palczewski didn't have, they weren't amazing. Palczewski had a couple penalties, I think, as well. Offensive, big picture for me, this team, you got guys in there that I think you can get by a few games. But right now, I don't know if I see anybody that is oh yeah, sign me that guy up for starter next year to replace Powers or Wattenberg. So long season to go. We'll see how it plays out. But the offensive line, I thought as a collective did pretty well, but not anybody that's just dominating where it's that guy's insert him in the lineup. We got to get it going.
Losing Gargiulo is less than ideal. I thought he was doing great through camp and one of the better looking offensive linemen on the interior for the Broncos, and maybe someone to eventually replace Ben Powers, like you mentioned. But yeah, other than that, the depth looks fine. Nothing overly concerning, I guess, but nothing that makes you just hey, maybe we should just get Ben Powers out of here now or replace Luke Wattenberg now. But, the depth has been mostly encouraging, but I still want to see more. And obviously, slim pickings out there in free agent market and what have you. So we'll have to see if they keep developing and get better as the season goes on. But again, they are depth pieces. So how much are we going to see them? Hopefully, never.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of how it goes.
For me, it's more you potentially have two openings on the offensive line in 2026, and this is hopefully all that we see them this season. So they're going to have a better idea in-house than we will, because how these guys are playing in practice and everything and in the meetings. But we're looking for internal options because that keeps you flexible and healthy roster-wise for left guard and center after the season. Right now, I'm not sure if I'm leaning on any of these guys. I think there was more hope for Gargiulo, and this injury sets him back a little bit. So a bummer for many reasons, but thoughts go out to Gargiulo. How many wide receivers are going to make the Broncos 53-man roster, says Michael Ronquillo. Right now, it's got to be 6. Things can change. If somebody offers, a 5th-round pick for Vele, then I think you probably bited it, given where you're at in the room and his age. But right now, you probably keep 6, and that's not crazy. Sherfield safe, Mims safe, Franklin and Pat Bryant safe. Obviously, Cortland Sutton safe. Vele's the one who's it feels like, just from a perspective, feels uncertain, but this is going to get clipped here in 3 months after Vele is, the obvious number 2 receiver and having a great season. So, it's 6, and right now you have some injury guarantee. Now we're still not sure if any of them are true blue wide receiver 2s in the league, but you might have 5 wide receiver 3s types, which is another way to combat it, right? That's especially with how much Sean likes to rotate receivers.
Yeah, it sure is. And you mentioned, I believe 6 is probably the number, unless they feel they could get a good return from Vele or have been offered a good return for Vele, in which case they can kind of do what they did last season. I believe they had 5 receivers and they just called various ones up from the practice squad depending on matchups and what have
Jordan
you.
Humphrey special.
Yeah, exactly. Little Jordan Humphrey, who else? Michael Bandy. There's a couple others who are completely going over my head at the moment, but I think 6 is the number, like you mentioned, but Vele would probably be the odd man out there. I just think Pat Bryant looks a little stronger, he's bigger, and then Franklin brings that speed, that separation that Vele doesn't. And this isn't to, poo-poo on Vele. He was very solid last season, but He is older. He's 27 when he's going to be 28 this year, possibly. And then the knee thing might not be the best option for the Broncos. But hey, if he keeps showing out, then they're going to have to keep him.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Falling Sloths. There we go. I knew I could pressure you into it. Becoming a member. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Jetty Splash says we're doing a better job than most hitting open receivers, and receivers are catching the ball. Absolutely. Jason say they're going to keep 6. That's great. Hope so as well. Talked a lot about offense. RJ Harvey, limited sample, looked well. McLaughlin, shout out to him. Defense for me, my big takeaway is Jonah Ellis looks good. Year 2, I was a little bit worried because he suffered that was a shoulder injury last season in the Bills. What's the offseason program going to look like for him? Because he needed to get stronger. He was a young player. He looks stronger. Plays against the run, plays against the pass. If the Broncos didn't have Benito, I'd be excited to see what he could look like as a starter this year. But he's third string. You're going to rotate him. He could be a problem. He looks really good.
It's always good to have a rotation of pass rushers, and Ellis just makes this pass rush even better than it was last season. I know he got 5 sacks last year as a rookie. Man, I don't want to put too much pressure on him, but he looks to be, and obviously these players aren't on the same level, but he looks to be the Shaq Barrett that sat behind a Von Miller, a DeMarcus Ware, that at least have that kind of idea, right, in the rotation to have another solid third pass rusher that you can swap in and out to give the other guys a breather. And very encouraging. I mean, he just flashes every time he's on the field at this point. So really excited to see what he can do this coming season.
Conga says this, but he's not a member yet. Become a member. I know where you live. So we'll find you, Conga. We'll make you another head will emerge there with your Hydra. But yeah, no, appreciate Falling Sloths coming in, and that was funny. But yeah, Jonah Ellis, incredible. I mean, Dylan, you've been part of MHH for a while, and all the listeners have been here for a bit. One of my tenets in football is there's no such thing as enough pass rush juice, and you want to have 4 guys that you feel comfortable starting out there at edge, and probably 4 at interior as well. And it's not like the offensive line. It's not like receiver, cornerback, where it's like, you're not going to see that guy that's your 5th cornerback, hopefully, unless things go really wrong. For a pass rush in the defensive line, you are going to see those guys, even if things are going great, because it's such a heavily rotated position. And the best defenses in football, they either have an absolute god along the defensive line, like a singular face of defensive football, 99 in Madden type, your Myles Garrett's, your JJ Watts, or they are ridiculously deep. And I lean back to Broncos had both of those in 2015, which was one of the reasons they were so special. They were named the no-fly zone. I contend that it was the depth and Von Miller emerging into the best defensive player in football that really was the backbone of that defense. But you had the Eagles last season. They were 2 lines deep. Obviously, it's good to have superstars, but I'd rather, and it's better long-term to have a superstar because there's not as much rotation, variation to injury, everything. But like in a singular season, if you can give me 8 guys who are B pluses or better, or Bs or better, you're going to be a freaking problem. And Jonah Ellis is right now, he looks like a starting caliber edge. And as your number 3, there's plenty of reps to go around. Nick Benito, Jonathan Cooper's maybe been, along with Troy Franklin, the best player in camp. I know that was at, Clay rated the Broncos edge room as like 23rd in the league. Whatever. Good for him. He does good work. That one I don't agree with. And I think Ellis emerging is going to be different. We also had some questions entering the season. Like Ellis, drafted in the 3rd round. We'll see what he looks like. He had obviously the rookie all-pro team last season, but he drafted Q Robinson, who's really talented. Tillman also had flashes last season, a different body type. There's a chance that edge rusher 3, the first guy off the bench, there's a competition for that one. I think competition closed. It's going to be Ellis. Ellis looks really freaking good.
Yeah, he looks damn good. And like you mentioned, that rotation is so important. And I want to say you've been on that train for quite a while. I know it kind of exploded with the Eagles winning. Oh my God, you do really need a lot of depth on the defensive line. Nick's been on that for quite a while, and it is important. You need to have guys be fresh and have a fresh rotation to keep things. Keep offenses on their toes first and foremost, but just so everyone's got, or not 100%, but close to 100% most of the game, keeping their energy up and getting after the quarterbacks. We want to do to Mahomes what the Eagles did, and I think the Broncos have. I think they have the potential for that. Maybe not so much on the depth on the interior per se, but that edge group is looking solid, especially with the emergence of Ellis. I'm really, really excited to see what he can do going forward.
Yeah, you're right about the interior. We don't have a Jordan Davis body type necessarily, but that's fine. Also, I don't think I love Zach Allen, but if you could keep me like just player on the football field, Jalen Carter's more talented than Zach Allen. I mean, he has a chance to be the best defensive tackle in football, but that's neither here nor there. I'm happy to have him. Who we got, and Zach Allen's a heck of a leader. So I digress. Jason says, more Dylan, please. Morning or night shows. Slide right in with great chemistry. I'm not going to make any comment about sliding right in. Nick takes a hike, pun intended. JK, love the show. Absolutely. If Eric wasn't out, I might have been gone today. I'm lucky to be here after not knowing where my phone is and everything and all of that. But yeah, no, Dylan does a great job. He's also the best looking of us all. So he's a triple threat. So we got that going for us. Or he's got that going for him as well. Excuse me while I clear my throat here. We are going to wrap it up. I hear the kid screaming upstairs. I need to go relieve the wife after we got maybe 2 hours of sleep last night. Other takeaways on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know if Eric would agree with me on this one, but from what I've heard and from what I've seen, I do think an undrafted free agent linebacker has emerged, and that's Kareem Reed. I think he has moved at a different speed than the other guys that they brought in. He's getting the snap. Conga! There you go, with the group as well. See, the peer pressure works. You guys can do it. Maybe just one more beer, huh? One more before the road. But no, don't drink and drive. I think Kareem Reed has stepped up. I don't know if he's going to make the active 53, but out of Brown, heck, maybe even compared to Lavelle Bailey, those are, I think Reed has stepped up. So keeping an eye on him.
Yeah, man, it's hard to get much talent on this team at a linebacker, and maybe that's I'm being a downer there, but I do like Greenlaw a great bit. Obviously, health is a concern. Alex Singleton, I've always kind of been low on, and I know lots of Broncos country like him. They see the tackle numbers. Big tackle numbers don't always indicate a good linebacker. I mean, where are those tackles happening? What's he doing in coverage? Obviously, he's going to give up catches. That's linebackers in general do that. But, I'd like to see something better than Alex Singleton. Sternad has been okay in spots. Don't really love him to start frequently. And beyond that, I mean, I know Lavelle Bailey has been doing very good in training camp, but Kareem Reed, yeah, he's definitely flashed in these preseason games. So anything we can get at the inside linebacker position, I'm pretty happy with. We need some upgrades there for sure.
Yeah, and final takeaway for me on this defensive side of the ball was, two, I guess. Was hoping maybe Q, Uwazurike, and Savion Jones a little bit more consistent, a little bit more flashes in this one. That's okay, though. We're still a year off. Jordan Jackson also, he's got pretty good get off. He just, he's stuck once somebody gets hands on him. So don't think we have that last spot on the interior defensive line is still questionable as far as the talent level goes and long-term projections, but that's okay. You can't have, stars on every spot, even though you should hunt for it on the defensive line. Final thought I wanted to have, though, was I'm not disappointed, but it doesn't seem like Jahdae Barron is there yet. And what does that mean for this team? I thought it would be pretty shocking if he wasn't a starter week one. But as time has gone on, it does seem like it's possible that there's still going to be reps for him and everything. But I think right now it's a 50-50 chance that he's starting or if it's going to be Jaquan McMillan. I think Moss is solidified on the outside.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I've mentioned it plenty. The transition for corner from college to the NFL, it is a bigger one. It's not a one-for-one. There are some guys that have stepped right in, right? You have your Sauce Gardners, your PS2s, what have you, who've come in and produced early, right? But the Broncos kind of have the luxury of letting him sit a little bit while he learns more. Obviously, being a first-round pick, you'd like to see him out on the field day one. But McMillan is good enough Obviously, coverage a little shaky, but in terms of the turnover department, he's been absolutely lights out there. So if Zade needs to sit for a little while longer, I'm kind of okay with it. Like I said, I do think eventually he will take that role. But hey, if he needs to sit just for a little longer and take in everything, and with our great defensive staff like Jim Leonard, especially, um, that's something I'm a little more okay with, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Fallen Sloth. He's going to wrap us up on this one because he's got Nick is all choked up now, Jason, but it's from Jason. Fallen Sloths coming in here. And he gives us two $25 super chats and kind of peels back the curtain. And it's always awesome to hear from you guys, the personal stuff, because, we're all connected by football, but we're all individuals with our own stories and everything and what's going on as well. And Fallen Sloth, two $25 super chats here says, when the show started, I've been laid off from my dream job at the zoo and joined the AmeriCorps as an on-call epidemiologist during the pandemic for no pay. This show kept me sane. Well, that's crazy, Fallen Sloth, because those were some Drew Lock rough years going on, Teddy Bridgewater and everything for those Broncos years. So us keeping you sane. The Broncos didn't do anything to keep us sane. So I guess we must be doing an okay job there. And he also says, so you should maybe be a writer, Falling Soft, because it's kind of dark there. The pandemic callback, no pay, lost your dream job. And then we got redemption here. Since then, I've grinded my way back to the zoo, used those skills to get an amazing new job in March, still do the zoo stuff, though. And fiance as of June, so congrats. Started her new job last week. Perfect time to finally give back to y'all. Didn't have to give a single super chat, Fallen Soft. We'd have highlighted this, but we really do appreciate it because it it does matter. Times are tough. The economy is weird. And, these shows, as much as they are a work of love, if they were making absolutely no money and no viewers and no likes or anything, I don't know if, Chad would keep the wheels rolling on these guys. So these really help, but even more so, seeing somebody with Fallen Soft who's been an awesome contributor and member of the community for years now, coming in and supporting us, but hearing your journey and everything. So congrats to you on grinding. Thank you for sticking around with us. Awesome on the fiance with her new job, and you as well. Every day is a new day, and you got a chance to get a little bit better. So hopefully for me today, I get a little bit healthier. The guy stopped screaming now, so shout out to my wife who's watching him. But we are going to wrap up. Michael Ronquillo, great show today, Nick and Dylan. And last one here, Leroy. Good to see you, Leroy. Against the third, fourth string offensive line. So how much does it translate? But Jordan Turner and Andrew Farmer both had 3 pressures in this game on 11 snaps and 13 snaps. But I'll be curious if they can sneak both of those guys on practice squad. I don't expect either of them to jump Q Robinson, or Tillman. But both of them, for your depth players, have a role.
Yeah, and you need that depth just like you need at any other position, but especially with how volatile inside linebacker was last season when Singleton went down and we were kind of rotating Sternad and a handful of other guys to mixed results. So having depth there is great. And I already talked about it quite a bit. I'm not very settled with this inside linebacker room despite adding a Greenlaw and Singleton coming back from injury.
Yeah, when Eric and I did the grades of the team 6 weeks ago now, I think our lowest grades were the tight end room and the linebacker room. That is a area that we're looking for still on this team. Unfortunately, they are like the 2 positions that a early draft pick does not necessarily equate to good return on investment. They're like 2 of the most volatile results positions in the NFL. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out this upcoming season. We got a long way to go. And we got a lot of college football left to happen too before we're kind of seeing how the draft class stacks up. I mean, Nick, what do you think everybody pull out the lizard meme. Lizard. What should the Broncos draft? Defensive line, offensive line. Just keep hitting that button. We got a quarterback now. Teams. Keep stacking on the trenches. And I think Sean Payton might be the prince of the lizards that way if Bill Parcells may be the king. So appreciate that. We got Gary Fire in the house. Good to see you. Gary, a member as well. You guys killed it today. Good to see Dylan. Wasn't sure if it would be him or Eric today, but Eric's under the weather. So am I, Eric. What do you call this? It's called being a man, showing up when you're not feeling good. So no, I'm just teasing. Appreciate it. Hopefully Eric is back on Wednesday because he always has great insight and does a lot of work to bring you guys good content. And I really appreciate Dylan being. It's not an insult. You're the Stidham today. Eric under the weather. I can be. Call me Wattenberg, I guess. I'm snapping the football, but you're shooting the shots, and everyone's like, oh, maybe. As Jason said, we need more of this. Jason's calling for a quarterback competition coming on. So, no, we appreciate everyone coming in. Shout out to all the people joining us today. Clicking the thumbs up. All the new members as well. Fallen Sloth and Conga, two of all-time greats. Conga is. I know that he's not on the show anymore, Conga, but Scott always really appreciated Conga because he was like just the right amount of cynical and snarky. It wasn't like it was rude to anybody specifically or combative to the hosts, but it was still like there was a cleverness in the non-belief, I guess. I could put that probably in a more intelligent way, but not as clever as Conga, but appreciate him coming in. Fallen Sloths, also great to hear your story here. Congrats in many levels. Jason Bonney. Jason, who's the next Bronco that Eric and I should doubt that's going to show up out of nowhere? We still want to see more proof with Troy Franklin, but Bo Nix, Troy Franklin, and also this final point, because we do have to get out of here. I got to get on dad duty. With draft picks, it's really important to give them at least 1 year in the system before you judge. So last year we saw Nix. Maybe he plateaued. Who knows? I'm optimistic. We'll see how it plays out, though. But we heard Sean Payton mention that 2024 class looks special, could be awesome. And we're all kind of like, okay, sure. What are you going to say? But right now, with how Ellis and Franklin have emerged year two at value positions at that, maybe it is special. Maybe it does end up being special. So give it time. We're kind of worried about Johnny Barron. Not worried, but Johnny Barron, haven't heard from him right now. Harvey, we'll see what it looks like. Savion Jones, Q Robinson, make the roster. 2026. We'll have another conversation. So give it some time. Dylan, appreciate you hanging out. Appreciate everyone coming in. Dominique says he's going to come in and rewatch later. Dominique, make sure you join our chat as well as a member. Become a member of our MHH YouTube team. That helps us a heck of a lot. Compete for those XP points with your contributions and your conversations in there. Follow Dylan and I on Twitter. Dylan is at Dylan Von Arcs MHH. I'm at Kendell MHH. We're also at MHH Pod and Mile High Huddle. Over on Instagram.com at mile_high_huddle. Appreciate all you. Find us on Spotify and Apple after the fact. Leave us a 5-star rating and subscribe, like, and share. Dylan, final words. What's going on?
No, just happy to hop in and talk Broncos with you guys. I know Jason mentioned, it's nice seeing me on here. My schedule is getting a little more consistent, so maybe I'll talk over with the boss man, see what we can do in terms of getting some more screen time. But other than that, I'm fine coming in and just filling in when I can, and when you guys are getting sick, which seems to be a lot, you too, well, especially with the kids, obviously. But yeah, no, just happy to be here and talk Broncos and chop it up with y'all.
Appreciate everyone. Appreciate you, Dylan. You guys have a great day. I'll see you again tomorrow evening. And as always, choose kindness and compassion. Go Broncos.